What a play, play after play after play.
And he's got a lot of room to run, and she is taking over.
Roach, that's his building. The greatest conference in the country is showing out tonight, gentlemen. I cannot believe it. That is the greatest football game.
Thank you so much for being with us on a Tuesday night. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo. He's Kevin Ricca.
Hey, nice to be here tonight, Ken. You know, it stinks not getting to watch these guys play right now. But what's been good about what we've been doing is the stories we've had, the people that have been coming at you, you know, stories of courage, excellence, and champions. And tonight we've got one lady here that embodies all three.
And one man named Tim Strachan.
What's going on, everybody? Looking forward to tonight. I agree, Kevin, and I'm so glad that tonight we finally get the dedicated show to the women's side of things, put a little spotlight on the girls. Looking forward to it.
You'll be seeing more and more of that. We have an awesome slate of guests, and it all starts tonight. And it is no coincidence that it's starting this way. But before we get there, let's start the show like we always do on the WCAC Spectacular with Around the League. Let's see what's happening around the WCAC, the greatest league in the nation. Started down in Columbia. Congrats to Good Counsel grad Heather Hines, Defensive Player of the Week, locking things down between the net for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Not too far away, in the same area of the world, that's Jeremy Roach. You've seen him on our air plenty. He is lacing them up at Cameron Indoor. I know there's a certain someone sitting almost 6 feet away from me who cannot wait to watch this man hit the hardwood.
Loved him in Fairfax. We're all going to love him in Durham.
Heading over to the NFL gridiron where DeMatha grad Chase Young and Good Counsel alum Kendall Fuller are absolutely killing it this season for the Washington football team, making it fun for fans of the Burgundy and Gold to tune in on Sundays and performing at a high level, representing the league. How about going over to I Street where Josh Williams, another player we've had a chance not just to watch, but get to know and watch grow up. Committing to College of the Holy Cross, we've looked very much forward to seeing him take it to the next level. The Crusaders are getting a good one, everybody.
One of the best families in the WCAC.
Speaking of one of the best families in the WCAC, the McNamara Mustang family will have a new renovated place to pump some iron. I tell you what, I hit the same weight room my dad hit in the 1970s, and thank God they have decided to change it up. The renovation looks great, bright, clean. The Mustangs are back. And who is that masked man? I believe that's Bill McGregor, the head coach of the DeMatha Stags. I think he's been working out. I can't tell exactly if that's real or fake, but I'm pretty sure it's all Bill McGregor, and he is Batman.
He wears that mask to protect those closest to him.
You gotta, exactly. In the time of the pandemic, you gotta mask up. Around the League, brought to you by Luke David, Victor Maddox, First Amendment Sports, and all the folks here in the basement. We appreciate all you guys. But you know what? I'll tell you what. Kevin alluded to it. T alluded to it. One thing we've been able to do since sports kind of stopped, at least at the high school level, is turn the cameras and attention to the amazing stories that are taking place off the field. And I'll tell you what, we got a good one for you tonight. If I told you that we had an inspirational person to join us tonight who's run 60 marathons, 25 Boston marathons, is a two-time Ironman competitor, 16-year coach in the WCAC over at Bishop O'Connell, where she has won 11 WCAC championships, grown a cross-country program from the time she got there. I think she told me they had 70 kids out on that field last season. Had a 10-year streak of championships that was only broken when Coach Desmond over at St. John's, who we love, was able to finally get a crack at that hardware in the WCAC. A career counseling kids, a lifetime dedicated to helping kids, 11 state champions, including being the defending champion and the most winningest coach in the state of Virginia. Please welcome to the show, Cindy Walls.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, are you kidding me? Thanks for having us. Thanks for helping distract us from. I don't think anything's happening today. Is anything happening today outside?
I'm not sure you're talking about.
Something's going on.
The great distraction.
The great distraction. Welcome to the show. Thanks for classing it up. As we say, we always invite the class on our show, and tonight is no exception. And Cindy, so thank you on behalf of all of us. We get a chance to go around this league and get a chance to meet a whole lot of awesome people. And man, I tell you what, looking over your resume and getting a chance to talk to you a little bit before the show and earlier today, not only are you highly decorated, but you're incredibly inspirational. And I love, as a almost 15 to 20 year, I'm going to 15 to 20 year marriage guy myself, the pride in John's voice when he talks about his wife, to me, is just so telling and cool. So we have a couple pictures that he provided us that you might not know are coming, but I love when the family is all in, and that is clearly the case.
Married 41 years, so
oh,
he knows me well.
That's amazing. That is amazing. T, why don't you kick it off for us tonight, buddy?
Well, Cindy, thank you so much for coming on, and Ken did a great job of kind of showing all your accomplishments as a coach and on the track. I guess I don't know how you describe it in cross country, but I'm not going to try and butcher your psychology background. I'm hoping that you can give us an update on and bring us up to speed on that. But I've even had Maryland football coaches who have had no background in psychology say half my job is being a psychologist to these young people, and it's evident you bring this in to your coaching. Can you give us a background on your counseling and that part of your career and how you integrate that in to coaching your girls?
Okay, well, I had a private practice in Falls Church, which I actually recently retired from, and I counseled a lot of adolescents, but my specialty was grief and loss. And I actually got into counseling late in life because I was coaching, and I realized so much of my time was spent counseling and mentoring and advising. And some days I'd say, why don't you go ask, your school counselor? And they would say, no, you're just so much easier to talk to, and you get it. And but I use my counseling every day in practice, whether it be listening, because that's how you learn, or whether it be just, mentoring and encouraging and trying to figure out what's happening in the teenage brain, which is challenging for parents as well as coaches, and just having a relationship with one-on-one with each of my team, which is part of counseling as well.
Well, first of all, I guess those football coaches out of Maryland weren't so dumb after all, because there was a question of what comes first, the chicken or the egg. At least in your case, the coaching apparently came before the counseling. Mm-hmm. But again, we can talk about all the championships you've won and the great runners you've had. But is there an example of a young woman that you've coached? Maybe wasn't your best runner, but used cross country to empower her to become something better and greater later in life, totally outside of sports?
I have so many of those stories. I mean, I have a girl that started a program for young disadvantaged kids in California, and it all stemmed from, she wasn't a very good runner, but she spent time in the program, and she was encouraged, she was challenged, and she took that and, went to college and tried to inspire young people. But I hear it from, it can be the slowest person on the team, and they just caught the running bug, and 8 years later, I get an email and say, hey, I'm training for my first marathon. Will you send me a plan? And you never know what a coach plants seeds in their athletes each and every day. And you really sometimes don't know what those seeds are gonna bring in years to come. And it's so gratifying to me when I plant little seeds and I hear from a runner, 10 years and something I said or a teammate said impacted them and continues to make them grow and impact them in their life today.
Yeah, as a father of two young girls, and I know Ken and Kevin also have daughters, I want them to hear this because as much as I would love, and I'm sure they would love to be in the WNBA someday, I want sports to be more than that for them. I want it to be something that develops who they are and empowers them and gives them confidence and allows them to be successful on whatever it is they want to do in life. And that's what we think sports really does for these kids.
And I try and tell young girls today, you are so fortunate. You are so blessed to have so many opportunities. When I was in high school, way back in the early 70s, we didn't have opportunities. We had like one sport you could play, tennis. And so now, young girls, they just have so many opportunities. And there's nothing better than being a part of a team and learning so many life lessons and challenging yourself and how wonderful it is for your life.
Absolutely, Cindy. And I've always looked at it as being a part of a family. And while we're sitting here talking about that, Ken alluded to how you guys get it, the way you guys do it at the Walls household. And your husband, John, involved in sports media. Your daughter, Katie, was a tremendous athlete, finishing her career down in South Carolina. What I want to know is throughout the course of this whole pandemic, at my house, a family walk gets pretty competitive. But I imagine we're not really on that Walls family level. Can you talk about the family level of competition for us?
Well, we have 4 children, a son and 3 daughters, and they all ran in high school. And actually, I coached them all. And I'd like to say, their biggest thing was we couldn't get away with anything. I mean, if there was a get-together or something on a Friday night, there's no way we could go because Mom/Coach Walls would know, and it would not end well. But we are a very competitive family, but we're really encouraging. And actually, right now, my oldest daughter, who just has 2 little kids, she put a challenge to herself running a 50K, raising $50,000 for leukemia lymphoma. And she says, "Mom, would you do a plan for me?" And I'm like, "Okay, I'll do a plan for you." And she says, "You want to run some of the runs with me?" And I said, "Well, I've never run a 50K, it's 31 miles. I think I'll do it." So we're going to do it virtually. And actually, it's just going to be a two-lady race right before Christmas down in Florida. So it's fun.
Get the cameras ready, First Amendment Sports.
Oh, man. Well, looking at some of the things that you've accomplished, the Ironman stand out to me, not because I've completed any myself per se, but for anything. But
riding your bike to the pool doesn't count, Ken.
What's that?
Riding your bike to the pool doesn't count.
Well, it counts a little bit. That's not split hairs here. But all your marathons, 25 Boston marathons, we talked about it a little bit today. The first thing that comes, I had to ask you was, were you racing that day when things went south and were so horrible for the Boston Marathon? There you are running. Thank you, John. That's Boston Marathon, Cindy Walls. But maybe talk a little bit about that day because it's a memory kind of burned in everyone's minds, and it must have been a hard day.
It was really one of the scariest days of my life and certainly our families. And the blessing in it was that Katie and I were running together, and she had sustained a little injury, so she was running a lot slower. Otherwise, she would have kicked my butt. And we were together, and we got to mile 25, and that's when the first bomb went off. And I had done the marathon many, many times, so I just told Katie, it's not, we had no idea what had happened until maybe 15 minutes later, but we were pretty much stopped because the Boston Marathon, there's so many people that it's really crowded from the start of the race until you cross the finish line. But anyway, it took 3 hours. My husband and my sister were in the grandstands at the finish line, and I knew exactly where they were going to be because they sit in those seats every year. And but it took 3 hours for us to reunite, and I tell people it was a hug that is indescribable when we saw John and my sister, and we knew that we were all safe, but really, really scary, and certainly for me just makes me pause and say how grateful I am for our family and health, and that actually the next year Katie and I were able to run it together, and when we passed a mile to go, we kind of paused and had tears in our eyes, and then crossed the finish together. So
well, you talk about being grateful for family, and I know the way you talk about O'Connell, that's the way you see it. And I wanted to make sure and give you a chance to shine a little light on the support structure that exists over at Bishop Dennis J. O'Connell High School.
Thank you. What I do think it's a family, and one of the best things about O'Connell is that your faith is like front and center, and you pray, and you're just so grateful to God for every single blessing He gives you, and you can say it, you can scream it, you can share it, and it's celebrated. And the administration there, I can't say enough wonderful things about their supportive family nature. And the athletic director, Joe Wooten, I mean, we're good friends, and he is such a wonderful support for our program. And sometimes cross country, it's one of those sports that, people don't pay as much attention to sometimes in the WCAC, but he is a runner, which is an added blessing, and he knows how hard of a sport it is, and it should be recognized, and he has always been a big cheerleader. And we have great trainers. I have 2 assistant coaches. One actually is one of my daughters, Christine Morrud, and she was Christine Walls, and she actually ran for O'Connell her senior year, and CJ Blagg, and they've been with me for many, many years. And I just can't say enough about O'Connell and what a blessing it is to me to just work there and have so many wonderful young people. And people say, I've coached, this is my 27th year. I coached in California and Tulsa, Oklahoma, and 16 years at O'Connell. And they say, why do you keep coaching? And I said, because cross-country kids are the best of this generation. They're disciplined, they're kind, they're hardworking, they want to get out of their comfort zone, and actually they're some of the brightest kids. I've had so many valedictorians. Megan David, we were just talking about earlier, salutatorians. I mean, they are really bright kids and good kids, and so that's what keeps me coming back.
Well, I'm jealous because when we were talking earlier today, you were just getting off the golf course on a nice 60-degree sunny day in Florida. It wasn't necessarily that way for us today or the last few days, but I wanted to make sure and share with our audience and with these guys the conversation I had when she was talking about golfers. It wasn't just like, I played golf today. It was like, I'm working on, I got these new grips and I'm really fighting this swing. And she takes me all the way through why she probably shot like a 83 instead of like a 87. But I love that. And I think that the idea that you're competitive in your mind, you immediately thinking about the ways that you left a shot or two out there. That stood out to me when we talked earlier today. And I wanted to ask T and Kevin to give you guys, and really this question is more directed to Kevin than T. Sydney, I don't know if you know this, but Kevin Ricka is undefeated in cross country.
Oh,
Undefeated.
Really?
That's right.
Coach, hold on. We're talking.
Do you have,
We're
do you
talking.
have any children?
We're talking CYO mid 80s. No WCAC competition on this resume at the cross country level. Now I'm bright red. Proceed with the question, sir.
It was everything I could do to keep him from wearing his jersey tonight. Thank God. But I wanted to ask Kevin, what is a record time, and tease you do it, record time for boys cross country, a championship winning time for boys cross country?
9 minutes and 20 seconds.
Oh, dude, that's fast. That's real fast.
I know.
It's gonna be more than that, T.
I was at 12 years old. It was around 13. I was guessing.
I want to say, I have no idea. I'm gonna throw something out there.
Go ahead.
19 minutes.
Not a bad guess. The championship boys. I was talking to Cindy about this earlier. We lined this up. We wanted to put you guys on the spot. The boys are breaking 16 minutes at the highest level. Girls are breaking 19 minutes. I can't imagine. I can't run.
Of course, we're talking about girls because we have Cindy on. That's why I said 19.
Okay, there you go. I think that's impressive to me. That's pretty darn fast to run.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, it's 2 miles, not 1. It took me a while.
There you go.
It's 5.1
Even at
miles. 3.1 miles.
3.1.
The 5K.
Ooh.
Yes.
So
And it's hilly terrain. So I'm trying to
yeah.
think. Boy, that won last year's WCAC. I think it was 1540, and the girl was, I believe, right under 19, but I'm not sure. I'm not great on remembering year after year times.
I love the pictures when they're like running through like a creek, or they're coming down a hill, and I'm like, you're going right through it. Look at that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so happy that you're highlighting the sport, because a lot of people don't even know. They see a road race and they figure high school cross country is road racing. And it's really not. It's running trails, and like that's out at Lake Fairfax, and we don't run the championship out there anymore. But it is a fabulous course, and that's how the course is. It's muddy, and that particular day, Emily Blagg and Devin Nyhill were the 2 girls. We won that year too. And at 800 meters into the race, you go into the creek. And some years it's maybe 3 inches, and then some years it was pretty deep that year. And so you come out and the socks are wet, your shoes are soaking, and you still have to run 2 2.75 miles of racing, and they're running at a 6-something pace. So that's pretty good.
I'd say
Hey, Ken,
It's ridiculous.
Ken, if you will, Cindy, I just heard you mention Emily Blagg, and doing some research on you, I saw a quote from her that I thought was interesting. She said that she actually runs for you when she ran. Yes, I run for the team. Yes, I run to hopefully win or to get points or to help our team be successful. But at some point, she ran for you because of how much time you put in to all of them. That she felt it was her, homage back to you to actually run for you. I just wanted to bring that up because you brought her name up, and it struck me. But it's just a testament to the type of person and coach that you are.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, I've been told one of the highest compliments ever for me is when I hear, Coach Wall, say we have 70 some kids on the team, and we have some really slow kids and we have some super fast ones, and they'll say, it doesn't matter how fast you run. Coach Walls treats the slowest person on the team with as much time, encouragement, love as she does the fastest. And that is, to me, because everyone, I tell the kids the first week of practice, everyone is valued. Everyone matters. And everyone, 2 things I like to present to them. One is what is your why? Why are you here? Why do you want to be a part of the O'Connell cross country team? And 2 is, what is your contribution? And contribution can be anything. Contribution can be, thankfully, you want to take down the tent when it's, the meet is over and no one else wants to take the tent down or pick up trash. That's a huge contribution to me. Or a contribution can be you want to win the individual title at the WCAC. But I just think, and in life, every person counts.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I can't think of a better way to kick off our slate of guests that we have lined up for our audience than with you, Coach Walls. I want to say on behalf of First Amendment Sports and on our team here, thank you so much for your time, not just tonight, but also everything that you're doing for the kids in this conference at O'Connell and inspiration you provide them. We really appreciate hearing your voice and certainly making sure people know full well what's happening over in Night Country these days on the O'Connell cross country team.
Thank you so much. I totally appreciate it, and it's been a joy to spend some time with you and just kind of brag on O'Connell.
As well you should. It's well deserved. We look forward to seeing you in person, hopefully at some point when people see each other in person again in this world. But until then, thank you so very much. Once again, defending champion, one of the all-time winningest coaches in the state of Virginia, and a WCAC coaching icon in the sport of cross country and for all of athletics, Cindy Walls. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, that was awesome. That was a great way to kick off what we keep teasing as an amazing slate of guests. I'm going to tell you right now who we have coming up. I'm going to give you the next 3 names, and you're not going to believe it, because we're going to start with Cindy Walls. We're going to hit you next week, and we're going to stay right at Bishop Dennis J. O'Connell. And that is Eric Metcalf, one of the all-time greatest athletes to come out of the league. Great football player, made it all the way to the top level, and a great man. He will be joining us next week, following week. I'll tell you what, T, who's coming on the week after that?
That would be the original AD, Adrian Dantley. One of the best basketball players ever. I mean, he's in the argument.
It's got to be one of the best all time. It's certainly the.
I'm talking league-wide. It's understood, I believe.
Completely understood. In the league.
Sure.
Dominates.
But so great this time to come on, and he was like, without a doubt, I'd love to come on with you guys. We're looking forward to that. That's
going to be awesome. And then we come right back at you on November 24th. With another one who belongs in the conversation of GOAT. His name is Lawrence Moten. His game is, needs no introduction. He will be. I tell you what, I'll give you those 3 names, and I'm so excited to have those 3 conversations. There's no drop off. We have the slate of guests that we have planned for you guys for the next couple months is second to none, and we will absolutely tell you the story of this conference, past, present, and future. We very much look forward to that. And I guess, want to make sure and say thank you to the man pushing the buttons over here to my left. His name is Luke David. Man pushing the buttons behind the scenes. His name is Victor Maddox. He's Tim Strachan.
I'm glad that my red phone in the corner here hasn't lit up. That's the direct line I have to Bill McGregor's house. I thought it was going to blow up.
It's coming.
We were on. I think it is coming.
Commissioner Gordon is going to be calling that phone. He's Kevin Ricca.
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing I heard tonight was she said she became a guidance counselor because as she coached, the kids said, "You get it." Now, that's the best compliment I heard all night. What an outstanding guest, the WCAC treasure. And these next 3 guests before Thanksgiving, I think that qualifies as a turkey, my brother.
That's good. We will have earned it before Thanksgiving. Thanks to everyone for hanging out with us on a Tuesday night. Come back in about 5 or 10 minutes to watch. Thank God it's Tuesday. Until then, this was the WCAC Spectacular. I'm Ken Marangola. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.
Strike.